Is it dew or is it my sweat glands? You will never know. Hey guys, it's Julia. Welcome back to my channel. And today I fixed the microphone, thank God. And we're getting back to beauty. I wanted to do this video for a while, but it just seemed too overwhelming and I didn't have enough energy, and now I have too much energy. So today I'm going to be going through 20 of my favorite brands and telling you guys the best product and the worst product in my humble opinion. This can function as a buying guide or as a really good starting point if you want to try out these brands, or just like a general product roast, whatever you want to see it as. Just want to say as a disclaimer, I've purchased and tried many items from each of these brands, so I don't hate any of the brands in this video. I will roast a few products, but I will also give you guys the best product in the line to purchase as well. I'm hoping that this video will be less than 20 minutes for the sake of editing, Julia. Full details of this look that I definitely did not steal from the face of Kylie Jenner should be on Instagram already. You can still purchase the dewy merch at bonfire.com/JuliaMazzucato. I've heard all your input and I will be keeping this limited edition, but I will be extending it to the month of August. This merch will be available until summer is over and I have to go back to school.
This bitch disgusting.
I think I've rambled enough. Without further ado, let's get right into this. Might as well start with my favorite brand in the entire known universe, Anastasia Beverly Hills. Now, if we were just going by my favorite product from the line in general, I would have to say the Amrezy Glow. This is my entire highlighter in all of creation. However, I do want to limit this video to things that are still available and permanent products. Probably the best thing that Anastasia makes, which this was very difficult for me to pick out, but I'm gonna have to go with the eyeshadow palettes. Modern Renaissance and Soft Glam are my two favorites and pretty much what I would recommend as the first things you buy from their line. I'm currently wearing Modern Renaissance on my eyes right now. I just love the shades in here. I've used the living crap out of this palette. Soft Glam I do feel is a little bit more versatile. Either way, these are both taking the trip with me up to college. So the eyeshadow palettes and the Amrezy Glow, in my opinion, are the best things that Anastasia makes. Worst was pretty easy, and it was the foundation sticks. I do have one. It's one of the contour sticks in the shade Mink, and the contour sticks and the foundation sticks are the same formula, and I actually like the contour sticks. I think it's a great formula for contouring. It's very stiff, very dry, which is perfect for a contour because you don't want something that's going to be super movable to a point where it's going to look really, really messy when you start to blend it. But as a foundation, that is ostensibly not a good formula. It is only a $25 foundation stick, so that's a pretty decent deal, but I really can only see someone who is very oily liking that foundation. It's a very dry, very heavy formula, and it just looks so nasty on the skin. So I do love it as a contour. As a foundation, c'est pas ma chérie. Too Faced was a brand that was very hard for me to select my #1 favorite from, just because Too Faced makes complexion products that are just made for my skin. The Peach Perfect foundation is pretty much one of my favorite foundations, hands down. I love the Born This Way as well. I feel like they made the color Almond specifically for my face. Definitely my favorite thing from them would have to be the Born This Way Sculpting Concealer. Half an ounce in here, you get a huge amount of product, just a really good value for the amount you're paying. It is a full coverage concealer, but it blends really easily. It's pretty much everything that I wanted Tarte Shape Tapes to be, but just couldn't get there. This is definitely hands down my favorite thing from them. But for worst, Too Faced is very hit and miss. I would say a lot of their limited edition things are really, really not good. But definitely the worst thing I tried from them, I don't have anymore, obviously, because I got rid of it, but the Too Faced Melted Liquid Latex lipsticks. I get a lip gloss, and I get even having a more pigmented lip gloss. I think Anastasia and Kylie do a very good, very pigmented lip gloss where it's got an opaque color, but it's still very glossy. But the Too Faced latex ones, they're just very cloying and sticky. It literally feels like you melted rubber and you put it onto your lips. It's just not a nice feeling, and they just look very thick, very gloopy, and just not good. The two products from Tarte that I have to show you guys are both foundations. My favorite one is the Found Sealer. This is one of my favorite very dewy, beautiful foundations. It's a really nice luminous kind of medium to full coverage foundation. It's borderline like a wet look on the skin, but it just looks so luminous. It really makes my skin feel very nice, and it doesn't feel heavy at all on the skin. So I love this foundation. It was the first thing I purchased from Tarte in about 2 years, and I feel like they've just been releasing a lot of things where I'm like, okay, I see you. I do really enjoy the Found Sealer, but the worst thing I've tried from them by far would be the Amazonian Clay Full Coverage Foundation. And I only have this bottle because my mom bought this foundation, but she never even wears foundation anyway because she has beautiful skin. Asian don't raisin. I think the name Amazonian Clay is very appropriate because it feels like slightly liquefied clay that is halfway between liquid and solid that you're just like spreading onto your face and starting to dry as you try to blend it out. It's one of the heaviest, most like apparent foundations I've ever tried on. It really does feel like a heavy layer of cake across your face, and I just don't like that. I think there's so many foundations on the market nowadays that don't do that. So yeah, those are my two from Tarte. For Urban Decay, it was very easy to select my #1 favorite, which would have to be the Perversion mascara. I'm very picky with my mascaras, and I just really love this formula. I think the brush itself, first of all, is a really good, like, thick, fluffy, carries the perfect amount of product. It never looks too cakey. Just nice shock of volume, really good length as well. It's one of the few mascaras that I feel like is good when you first purchase it and a couple months down the line when it's kind of dried out a little bit. Perversion is definitely a favorite of mine. And then for worse, it was difficult for me to choose. Urban Decay and I are just like not the best of friends. I was gonna say the Born to Run palette because I despise that with a very burning passion, but probably the worst thing I've tried from Urban Decay would have to be their liquid lipsticks. Back when like liquid lipsticks and liquid matte lipsticks were really becoming a trend, I think a lot of brands were just kind of coming out with their own thing. Urban Decay's and Tarte's were some of the first ones I purchased, and at first I was like, oh yeah, these are good. They're very dry. They make my lips feel like death. That's just how liquid lipsticks are, right? It doesn't have to be that way. So weird to me though, because Urban Decay's regular lipsticks are actually really, really good. I just think they really drop the ball with their liquid ones for whatever reason. So, Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics. Oh, I'm sorry, Morphe. As much as I do playfully shit on Morphe, I do actually think they create very nice quality products sometimes. Operative word, sometimes, but I do think that their new formula of eyeshadows are just really, really, really good. When I say new formula of eyeshadows, I mean from the Jaclyn Hill palette beyond. Regardless of who created them, this palette and this palette are both very, very good pieces of makeup. I tried a lot of their other things. Some of them are good, some of them are very, very bad. So, their brushes. I really don't use a lot of Morphe brushes in my videos ever because I don't have a ton that I really like. I think that their gold line is actually very, very good. So this is the why I don't care and I don't know, because the writing on it has rubbed off. That's the thing. Their printing is not the best quality, but this brush is actually very nice. I like pretty much all their synthetic brushes. Their most popular line, which is the one that they sell at Ulta for some reason, are the worst quality brushes. It's my favorite highlighting brush, but they have a very similar like shape of highlighting brush, M16 or something. I don't remember what it's called because I don't care. That was like one of their most popular brushes. Every person who has a Morphe code loves that brush. I wash my brushes like once a week. This brush has held up through so many washes, and I really, really like this brush from Morphe. That brush looked like my hair in humid weather after 2 weeks of washing. The Y line is very good. That's pretty much it. Pure Cosmetics is a brand that I've tried to get on with so many times, but I don't really have a lot of things that I love from them, but the few things that I do like from them, I love hard. Definitely my favorite thing is their Afterglow highlighter. This I was not expecting to love as much as I did, but it's one of the most beautiful formulas of highlighters ever. Truly one of those like melty, blinding, dewy glows. A lot of these like icier highlighters I feel like just look like this metallic stripe on the face. This one just looks really nice and like whew, wet. I think their pressed powdered cheek products are actually very, very good. Definitely the worst thing I've tried from them is their Pure 4-in-1 foundation stick. The jury's still out on whether I vehemently hate or absolutely love the 4-in-1 Love Yourself-y liquid foundation. This one I'm still trying out. This is the one with 100 shades. But the foundation stick, even though it has the same product name, kind of like the Anastasia foundation stick actually, very, 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 very dry. Again, I really don't see anybody liking this unless you have very, very, very oily skin. Such a dry, craggly formula. It really makes me look about 6,000 years old. I don't like this foundation stick at all, which is kind of sad because I love the packaging. It's just very silvery, new age, outer space type stuff. I should have a swivel chair more often for filming. This is great. Colourpop was probably, like Anastasia, one of the hardest brands for me to pick just one product from their line because I love so many things. I think they have so many amazing products, and like I would say a good third of my makeup collection is Colourpop. Probably like 50% of my lip products are Colourpop, but my deepest love runs in their eyeshadows and their monochromatic palettes. I believe to be the best quality eyeshadow palettes that they produce. Doesn't mean I want to buy all their monochromatic palettes. I do only have 3 of them because those are the ones that really attracted me. I think the quality of these is like Colourpop's regular shadows, the monochromatic palettes. The Aha Honey palette, I'm actually wearing a little bit of it on my eyes right now with the Mono Renaissance. So Sweet Spot is one of the best yellows I have in my collection, and it is currently packed all over my inner corner at the moment. But these are just stunningly put together, very nicely synthesized 9-pan monochromatic color schemes. I think the quality of these is amazing. Very buttery, smooth, very pigmented, but not too powdery either. Always managed to put in some really like fun, unique shades as well, so I really love their duochromes. So Colourpop's eyeshadows in general are just probably the best thing. But having tried so many things from Colourpop, I have found a few things I have not liked in their collection. Definitely the most egregious offender was the Colourpop Cream Gel Eyeliner in the shade Exit. I've been searching for a good white eyeliner for a very long time, and I've never found a good white eyeliner, and Exit falls into the trap of pretty much every white eyeliner. Dry, patchy, sad. I'm not sure about Colourpop's other cream gel eyeliners. I'm not sure if the entire formula is bad or if it's just the white one. I suspect it's probably just a problem with the white, because that's pretty much every white eyeliner I've tried. Like this. Essence, one of my favorite drugstore brands by far. Definitely my favorites from them are their Satin Touch blushes. These I've gotten so many people on. I consistently recommend these as a really good beginner makeup product because they're so cheap. They're like $3 each, and they're just really, really good quality across the board. 20 Satin Love is my favorite of the two. It's just a more versatile, basic pink shade. 10 Satin Coral is a more peachy version, but both are just a really soft, super silky, satiny smooth texture that just looks so nice and natural and beautiful on the skin. So this and the Pure Nude highlighter are probably my favorite products at Ulta in the drugstore section. I've tried a few pretty bad fails from Essence, but probably the biggest one was their eyeshadow primer. So I don't have it anymore, but it was just, from what I remember, like it did nothing. Didn't make my eyeshadow look brighter or anything. It also didn't make my eyeshadow last longer. I just think there's so many better affordable options for an eyeshadow primer. So the Makeup Revolution Cut Crease Canvas is what I normally recommend as a drugstore version. Like $2, just don't do it. Makeup Revolution, this is actually very surprising to me because I've tried so many products from them, but the best thing I've tried from them by far is actually the first product I ever purchased from them. This is the Vivid Baked Highlighter in the shade Radiant Light. This I actually bought when I was kind of beginning my foray into actually doing makeup for fun. So sophomore year of high school, I think I started my channel a few days after I bought this one. This is a beautiful highlighter. It's a very nice blinding formula. I've used the absolute living crap out of this one. I love these for $6. They're one of the best highlighters ever. My first ever highlighter that I owned, which is kind of crazy to me. So I love this one very, very much. However, Makeup Revolution is home to some of my least favorite products that I've tried from the drugstore. Some of their eyeshadow palettes. They have a lot of different eyeshadow offerings. Some of them are good. I would say the more expensive the palette, generally the better it is for Makeup Revolution. So I'd say their $15 palettes are a lot better than, say, their $7 palettes. I think the first palette that I ever bought from them was this kind of like Naked 3 dupe. I think they were called the Iconic palettes. Still sell those, I believe. The mattes in there are non-existent. They don't show up on the eyes. But I don't really think it's hard to formulate a good shimmer shadow most of the time, and a lot of drugstore brands do shimmers really well, whereas mattes, they kind of struggle. Somehow those shimmers were pretty much just like sparkly chalk. Makeup Revolution is really not a brand I recommend for good, affordable eyeshadows. I think there's so many better affordable brands with even more affordable prices than Makeup Revolution, offering just way better quality. So yeah. Milani is a drugstore brand I wish I'd tried even more from, because a lot of the things I've tried from them are just so good. My favorite is no shocker. This is the Silky Matte bronzer, and we all know that I love a good matte bronzer, but this is the shade 01. This is one of my favorite shades. It kind of reminds me of the Huda Light bronzer. It's that perfect shade that's kind of between cool and warm tone. It works as kind of like a bronze and contour action in one, so if I'm feeling particularly lazy, I'll use this one. It's $10. I think it's really great. However, Milani does suffer from the same problem that Urban Decay does, in that their bullet lipsticks are actually their bullet, like traditional cream lipsticks, really, really good. Their liquid lipsticks, butt shit. I think they're called the Amore Matte Lip Creams. So crackly. Just very butthole lip, dry, tight feeling on the lips, and just not great. Hourglass is complicated because they're like my perfect child.
I have done nothing wrong, ever, in my life.
I know this, and I love you.
Money, please!
So picking a favorite from them was no easy task, but I did it. It's the Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder. I really don't use a ton of loose powder anymore, and I use a very small amount of this one. I love this because I like having my makeup stay in place, which powder is very good for helping with. I like being very nice and dewy, and I like having my skin not look powdery. This one is perfect because it does the job, but it's very finely milled, very soft. It really just kind of like smooths over everything and looks velvety. It looks like a veil, as the name would imply, but it has a tiny bit of like luminescence to it, and it just makes your skin look alive, but not emphasizing any texture or pores or anything you wouldn't want to show. It is a very splurgy product, but I wouldn't call it by any means an unnecessary splurge. I think it's worth every single penny. It was very hard for me to think of a worse product from them because I really haven't tried a ton of things I've outright hated from them. They have a foundation in their line. I don't even know if they sell it anymore, but it was called the, I think, Veil foundation. It was before the era of their Vanish foundations, the stick in the liquid. And it was so weird to me because I'm wearing the Hourglass Vanish liquid foundation right now. Hourglass I can always count on to make my skin nice and dewy, nice and beautiful and skin-like. I guess it's called the Veil foundation because it makes you want to wear a veil over your face so no one can see how bad your skin looks. Huda Beauty, has truly grown so much as a brand. I've seen them go from like having lashes and lipsticks to having like a full-blown brand. And I think that's awesome. I love their growth. Hands down my favorite are their big eyeshadow palettes. The best one I would say is the new nude palette. This is just something else. The shimmers in here are amazing. Every time I wear this palette I get asked out, so it's very special to me. This has become one of my favorite palettes for creating very soft, just generally very pretty eye looks. This was a kind of harder brand for me to pick a worst from just because they create some of the most aggressively scented complexion products known to mankind. So definitely the worst thing I've tried from them was their setting spray. It really did smell like perfume. I would have sprayed it on my body as perfume and it would have smelled great, but I didn't want to spray it on my face. I have sensitive skin in general, and I know that would have irritated the crap out of my face if I wore it every day. So even the full filter foundation, I liked that for a good amount of time. I couldn't wear it more than one day in a row because it would just clog crap out of my pores. So I don't know how Huda wears it every single day because, like, goddamn girl, you must have like pores of steel. My skin is just like a little bitch. It really can't handle stuff like that. I really have a soft spot for OFRA because they definitely make some of the most blinding highlighters in the world, and their highlighters are definitely my favorite thing that they offer. On another level, it's just pure ice, honestly. These are very easy to go overboard with, but with the slightest amount, you can just get this extreme beaming glow. And I don't know why I'm showing you my cheekbone because I'm not wearing this highlighter. And I think because they're so blinding and you need such a small amount, you're actually getting a pretty good amount of product for the amount you pay. So the fact that I love their glow products so much was very disappointing to me when they came out with a dewy primer that I hated. This is their Northern Lights primer, and I felt like it didn't do anything that it was supposed to do. I didn't feel like it was actually doing a good job as a primer, which I don't really expect a dewy primer to do a lot in terms of making my makeup last longer, but I do expect it to make me look dewy, and this did not make me look dewy. So as pretty as the packaging is, disappointing. Becca, I have so many things I love from them. I really couldn't pick a favorite, so I didn't. I love their Skin Love foundation. This is a very nice, again, beautiful dewy foundation. I wear this to prom. It's the best. I feel like it does last really well throughout the day as well. I also really like their Flying Saucer products, but particularly their bronzers. This is the shade Bronze Bondi, and I'm wearing it on my cheeks right now. These blend really easily, and they're one of the only bronzers with a tiny bit of shimmer in there that I don't absolutely despise with my entire soul. But the other foundation in their line, the Ultimate Coverage.
No.
I don't hate full coverage foundations by any means. I'm currently wearing the Hourglass Vanish Seamless Foundation. This is the most full coverage foundation I've ever tried in my life. It's really easy to like sheer out, so I can use a very small amount of this product and get that nice amount of coverage, but it doesn't look like I'm wearing too much product. Becca one is so thick and cloying, it's really hard to blend out and sheer onto the skin, so I always feel like I ended up using too much product. Robin Marina Fenty deserves to have two products, so I have two to share with you guys. The Shady Biz Sunstalker Bronzer. This is a top-notch formula of bronzers. They're very, very easy to blend out. Instantly just brings this beautiful amount of warmth to the skin, and the packaging is top-notch. And then, of course, the original Fenty Glow Gloss Bomb. This was the first thing that got me to love lip gloss, and Easy Peasy was the second. This is just my go-to lip product for whenever I just don't know what I want to do with my life, and I'm just like, I need direction! I do have a few failures from Fenty, most notably the Pro Filter complexion line. Didn't like the foundation, but I feel foundation is a very subjective category, and I think that's a really good formula for people who are of like normal to oily skin. I just have very dry skin, and it just didn't play with my dry patches. However, the concealer, but I feel like concealer is more of a universal thing than foundation, and more people from different skin type categories can use the same concealer. That one just for me took dry to a whole nother level. I was not a fan of So I was not a fan of the Pro Filter Concealer, but there are so many other things I love from Fenty, I bow down. Glossier, waiting for them to come in clutch with a bronzer, but until then, from the Glossier Play line, I really enjoy the Liquid Night Shine highlighter. I guess if we're just talking about the main Glossier line, their cloud paints never fail me. These are some of the best cream blushes and the best cream highlighter ever. And I totally dig the very minimal makeup aesthetic of Glossier. However, the skin tint takes minimal makeup to a whole nother level in that it's not really makeup. It's kind of just like oily water. Good tinted moisturizer, or even like not wearing foundation and just spot concealing, does you so much better. Laura Mercier, I surprised myself. I thought I was going to say the translucent powder, but I actually have a very soft spot for the Flawless Fusion Ultra Longwear Concealer. Really good medium to full coverage, very easy to blend out, flexible concealer that moves with the under eyes. I really do not like Laura Mercier's eyeshadows. They are, of course, not a brand that's focused on creating eyeshadows. I figured, like, for such an expensive brand, you should at least have a good formula. Don't expect you to come out with, like, fun color schemes, but, like, a good formula is kind of the base. Ooh, that was shady. I'm sorry, Laura. Milk Makeup is that cool girl that I wish I could be. Their matte cream bronzer in the shade Baked is definitely my favorite thing from them. It was my first ever foray into cream bronzers, and this was kind of the thing that launched the obsession, and I love it so, so much. I really do like a lot of Milk's stick products. The worst one is their water stick, and I've talked people out of and I've actually actively talked people out of buying the water stick. I don't even know what its purpose is, because as a skincare product, not really any fun active ingredients in there that would do anything good for your skin. That it's like good for cooling down your face, but you could, you know, use water. I used the entire thing. I didn't notice anything happening to my skin other than it feeling nice and cool on my face during summer, which of course you could do, but also you could use, I don't know, a skin mist or water. e.l.f. Cosmetics, I've kind of fallen off trying out their new releases, which makes me sad because they were the first makeup brand I ever purchased from. Their metallic flare highlighters, hot damn, these are good. Probably the closest dupe I could find to the Amrezy formula. I've also tried many a bad thing from e.l.f., but the worst ever thing I've tried from them, hands down, is their Lock-On Glue Primer. They weren't wrong, it feels like glue. Your foundation will stick to it and just not blend. And I see them selling it in Ulta, and I have to wonder, like, do people buy that? Because, oh my god. Last but definitely not least would be Charlotte Tilbury. And for the best category, this was very hard because I want to put everything I own from Charlotte Tilbury into the best category. The Hollywood Flawless Filter is my baby. I use it as both a liquid highlighter on a more makeup-y day and as a foundation substitute as an all-over, like, glow face thing on a good skin day. One of the most unique products I've ever tried, and unfortunately the worst thing from Charlotte Tilbury would be their eyeshadows, which was very disappointing to me as a eyeshadow hoe. I tried out one of their most popular quads. It was the Vintage Vamp matte formula. I just felt like it was nothing special, and the shimmer formula was actively bad. But as a wise philosopher named Hannah Montana once said, nobody's perfect. And that is it. 20 brands and their best and worst products, respectively. But if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, and also follow me down below on Instagram to see makeup looks comme ça. Posted all throughout summer until I go to my death when the quarter starts. And if you made it to the very end of this video, Theory gave me a complete list of Leslie Knope's best compliments to Anne Perkins. Poetic and noble land mermaids. You get the bonus name. Love you. Bye.